Hello class. Today I'm going to show you how to take readers' notes for Bud Not Buddy. These will be the notes that we'll be using throughout our reading of Bud Not Buddy. So first you want to log into Google Classroom and make sure you're in the right class period. You want to scroll down. You'll find the readers' notes are going to be the top assignment. I'll make sure I always move them to the top, so you should always be able to find them right here. And this is the only place that we're going to take notes for Bud Not Buddy, other than some things that I might have you do on paper. So on your screen, you should have a button over here to the right that says Open. You're going to click that, which will allow you to open up the notes for Bud Not Buddy. So this chart here, if you look at the directions, you're going to read each excerpt from the novel and think about what figurative language literally means. That means what it really means and how it affects the tone. Okay? So if you remember that figurative language is language that gives a picture in your mind. Like Bud described the Amoses as cream puffs. Okay? And we had a picture of we were able to look at a picture of a cream puff being a really soft, flaky, big, squishy thing, right? And tone is how all those details reveal the attitude or the feeling of the main character or the narrator. So the word choice, the words that the author, Christopher Paul Curtis, gives to Bud reveals something about his feelings, and that's called tone. So, if we look down further at the chart, I have a couple of examples of figurative language, some things that we have already read and discussed. Here's the one regarding the Amoses and how they look like cream puffs. It's on page 17. So, over here I'm going to type what that literally means, and that is that the Amoses look soft and fat and weak. But he says if she is anything like that means Mrs. Amos, like Todd, who remember beat Buddy up, I bet she can pack a wallop. So that's another kind of a figurative language, just kind of a word that gives you that sounds like what it is. So a wallop is just a really hard punch or hit. So they may look soft and fat and weak, but they hit hard. And that's it. That's my note for there. What I'm going to, now then I have to think about, what does this mean? What does this quote here say about Bud's tone? Oops. And then for this one, we'll go to that in a second. He started, so this is from page 10. It's another example of figurative language. He started huffing and puffing with his eyes bucking out of his head and his chest going up and down so hard that it looked like some kind of big animal was inside of him trying to bust out. So this is from a description of Todd on page 10. What does this mean literally? Was Todd literally about to have an animal bust outside of him? What was he doing? What was he so puffed up about? If you look at page 10, you probably look to see that this is when they're having a fight. And I'm going to say Todd was really mad at Bud. And I'm just taking a quick glance at my book. Oh, and this is the part that he's pretending to be having some kind of big asthma attack. Todd is pretending to have a big asthma attack. Okay, so I'm going to say think about, what does this language reveal about Bud's feelings? The fact that Bud would describe Todd this way. I think he's impressed with Todd's acting, because Todd is putting on a big show for his mother. And maybe a bit surprised that Todd can do this. That's kind of a guess, but that's what I think. Alright, so in this one, the Amoses look like a bunch of cream puffs, but she can pack a wallet. The Amoses look soft and fat and weak, but they hit hard. So, I'm going to say what this reveals about Bud's feelings is that Bud is careful. So remember, this chapter starts with him saying, at some point in your life you realize enough is enough. He is not willing to, I'm going to say he's trying to avoid being hurt further by the Amoses, because Todd already shoved the pencil up his nose and punched him. Okay, now what you should do is talk to a partner and do these two. This is from page 43. No matter how dark the night, when one door closes, don't worry, because another door opens. So this one is a good one for you to practice on, because we talked about it in class last week, and it's a quote by Bud's mother, something that Bud's mother once told him. So I want you to look at that page, look at the quote on page 43, and you're going to need to reread 43, that page, a little bit, and then write, what does that really mean? What does his mother mean by one door closes and another one door opens? And you'll see in this section that that Bud talks about, he used to think it meant one thing when he was younger, and now, because he's had more life experience, he realized it means something else. And then what does that say about Bud's tone? Okay, and then you're going to scroll down and do this one. I stood in line with my pretend family for a long, long time. Everybody was very quiet about standing in line, even my pretend brother and sister and all the other kids. When we finally got around the last corner and could see the door and folks going in, it seemed like a bubble busted and people started laughing and talking. So first of all, I want you to identify where the figurative language is in this section, and then explain what it means literally and what it reveals about Bud's feelings or his tone. You can do those two with a partner. When you've done that, I want you then to move on to activity 2, which is the audio recording of chapter 7 of Bud Not Buddy. Thank you.